Meeting will now come to order. Let's all stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mrs. Almond, please call the roll.
Director Conley,
Here.
Director Emig,
Here.
Director Hogan, Director Kindig,
Here.
Director McKinney,
Present.
Director Meese. Here. Director Miller,
Here.
Director Whitmer,
Here.
Director Wolverton. 7 present, 2 absent.
And we have a quorum. Thank you, Mrs. Almond. This opens up our first public comment period. And do we have anyone seeking to make public comment? All right. The secretary, please note the presence of Director Wolverton.
Noted.
On our first item of business is action item 3.01, Laguala mechanical base bid. We have a presentation. Mr. Fluke, are you making the presentation?
No.
Answer any questions?
Yep.
Okay.
There's no presentation.
No presentation?
Nope.
All right. Before we accept a motion, let's accept some questions if the board has any questions on the bids. Any questions from the board?
I have a question on the electrical portion. The Shannon and Smith, they're like 37% less than the other two.
You are correct.
That concerns me. I mean, are we comfortable they're gonna do the work that we're requesting?
I have heard from, I believe it was our engineering firm has used them in the past and had good success with them, has done jobs with them before. It could be the simple fact that they didn't have any jobs scheduled over the summer or for that time period, and they had a slot to fill. So there's a possibility that the lower rate could be for something like that.
Well, the other red flag for me is they bid $996 on the mechanical, which is way above everybody else.
Right.
And then they turned around and
My guess,
7% less on
Yeah.
electrical, so it just, something just doesn't.
well, they're an electrical contractor, so that's why they're much cheaper on the electrical side. They're not so much as a mechanical contractor as the other ones that are, like Legalia is a huge mechanical contractor. I think that's something Shannon A. Smith's trying to get into. They're smaller, so that's why their price would be higher. That's not their specialty, so to speak.
We are required by law to take lowest bid.
Pardon?
We are required by law to take lowest bid.
Okay.
I had just one question. On the attachment on page number 3. So Shannon A. Smith's base bid on the mechanical contract is $973.
Mhm.
And then alternate bid 1, alternate bid 2, alternate bid 3. Just for clarity, can you explain what those numbers mean across that line?
Yeah, absolutely. So that was a reduction. So that was taking stuff off of the base bid. And the reason there are alternates there is so we did not go over the allotted money that we had. So that gave us some leadway, so to speak. So if it came back where we were over what was allotted with the ESSERS funding, we could just basically cut something off and say, okay, we can still move forward with this percentage of the project, but then we wouldn't go over the funds that we had to use. It's just kind of like a safeguard.
Okay, so what we would be acting on today is actually the base bid for everyone?
It's yes. So on the actual on the mechanicals, it's the base bid, and then bid 3 and bid 4 alternates. So you take the base bid and add those the bid 3 and 4 to that, and then on the electrical side, it is just the base bid. because the subtraction of the base bid alternate 1 and 2 were basically cutting things off. It was cutting a school is what it was. So that was one school. We would at least get one done then. Then we wouldn't go over the allotted funding.
Yeah, okay, thank you for explaining that. I
Yep.
just didn't want to make the wrong assumptions. Any other questions?
I guess since it's 204 under, are there thoughts of something else that
Yeah.
we should be doing? with
Yes,
that?
we're already working on that. But we have to make sure we have a little bit of a cushion with this project. So if something comes up,
Right.
we're not left standing there going, oh, well, this has to be done. And we want to make sure the ESSER's funds are as a cushion there to help that. We don't want to make sure, we're stuck out in the cold and we can't do anything.
Want some contingency.
Exactly. Yes, sir. Yep.
Mr. Wise?
So could we just add those on as another phase like you did with the alternates?
Yeah, there's a possibility you can add those on as a change order. Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yep, absolutely. And it runs just as any other project. I think Director Miller asked some questions about that. It can be added on, and it is a school district responsibility, but no funds from the district would be used. The ESSER's funds would be used for that, so it wouldn't be any cost to the district.
So we're confident we'll be able to use all the ESSER's fund money?
And there are other avenues we can take as long as it falls into COVID mitigation. There are other things we can use it for, that we can use that.
We're trying.
Yep.
There's no guarantee because of the being shut down in November, but we are doing our due diligence to make this money spent.
Okay. Are we expecting to see another request for approval from the board for another project?
If we're in the process of creating bid specs, and then obviously we're going to advertise as we did this time. So it may be a little bit before we can do that because we have to follow ESSER guidelines.
Right, okay. Does that make sense to everyone?
In regards to a different project?
Yes, to
extra
use
money.
the remaining, there's $200,000 remaining unused here. They're using part of it for a buffer on these projects. And then,
It's, the ESSER funds are very, very particular. If you notice, if you read the procurement guidelines, so it's not something that the board can direct administration to do. It's administration and the people who are running the ESSER grant who make the decisions on how it's to be spent because PD has to approve everything first.
okay. So you would get that approval first and then try to get us to approve it quickly, or will we need to have an?
It all depends on how fast we can advertise, how fast we get them back, how it correlates with a board meeting when PD approves it. So again, we make sure that we can actually put it out there and then I present it to PDE as a change and they approve it. They're doing a pretty good job now doing it they're doing it fast
Okay.
to get the money spent.
Does that answer your questions?
Yes. So in regards to this presentation tonight, what is our obligation? Are we voting on this?
Yes,
Yes.
No.
Right.
yes.
Oh, okay.
So what's the time frame for getting the project started and completed, or do you have an idea of what that would be?
If the board approves it tonight, it would be go from tomorrow. Tomorrow would be go. We would send a letter out to the low bidders saying they've been awarded the project and it would be full steam ahead. Because every day is very precious.
They have communicated that they're ready to
Yep.
start when, okay.
Does the work have to be 100% complete by the ESSER's deadline or
Yes.
just?
Yes,
the
every
approved
single
process?
thing. We have to have every single thing done,
Okay.
buttoned up. Yes, no exceptions.
Good to know.
Is there a contingency if they do not complete it in time that they reimburse us? And the
Yes,
second item is, where are these businesses located? How far away from here?
Legalia is in Lancaster County. And I don't remember where Shannon A. Smith is, but I can get that for you. That's no problem. I think they're semi-local. They're within probably the Tri-County area.
So you did say they are recommend that they would reimburse us if they're not on time.
We have, if you read the bid, the project manual and the bid specs, there's a lot of legality about that, but yes, that there's reimbursement attached.
They're located in Myerstown.
You said Myers.
Myerstown, yes.
Any other questions from the board? Okay, is there a motion to approve action item 3.01?
I can make that motion to approve 3.01.
Okay, Director Miller moves to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, Mrs. Almond, please call the vote.
Mr. Wolverton, are you able to vote? Your voice vote, please.
I approve it.
Motion carries 8-0.
Motion carries. Action item 3.02, Shannon Smith Incorporated base bid of $41,275 for the mechanical room electrical work at Lab and North Salem Elementary Schools.
So move.
I'll second it.
Okay, who made the first one?
Terry. Director.
Director Emig moves and Director Kindig seconds the motion. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Mrs. Almond, please call the vote.
Eight yes.
And the motion carries. This opens our next public comment period. Are there any public comments? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Director McKinney moves. Is there a second?
A second.
Director Whitman seconds the motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and the motion carries.